Hey everybody, happy Thursday. This is Sports Fanatic News. I'm Joe Borick. This is a look ahead to the Philadelphia Flyers versus the Buffalo Sabres. The Flyers come into this game 12-11-7. The Sabres come in 8-17-6 and have been a struggling team throughout the season, even though they have good young talent coming up, and that's already here in the NHL, plus Evander Kane is having a phenomenal season. Bounce back as well, because some of the past few seasons have not been Evander Kane-esque. Rob Lehner, the goaltender, is 7-12-4 with a 2.87 goals against and a 9.11 save percentage. He is having an okay season, of course, because a 2.87 goals against isn't great, but it's not as bad as a 7-12 record would show. But he is a goalie you can take high advantage of as long as you can get the pucks on net. You need to take advantage of Robert Lehner and do what we've been doing of late, which is getting in front of the net, forcing shots to the net, getting some deflections, and doing as such of what we've been doing of late. Elliott now has his record to 10-6-6 with a 9.12 save percentage and a 2.76 goals against average. Then if Buffalo decides to go with their other goaltender, it would be Chad Johnson, but he's 1-5 with a 3.64 goals against and an 8.83 save percentage. So I assume that will not happen against the streaking Flyers, who will now look to make it 5 straight. I don't think they will go with the more struggling goaltender. But if they do, thank you. But if they don't, again, Lehner is a guy that you can get after if you get in front of the net. If you put a bunch of shots on net on him, as we did the past few games against their goaltenders for the Canadian teams, we will have success tonight. Now, here are some things you need to know. Well, first of all, this game's on at 7 o'clock, and it will be on the NBC Philly app and also the NBC Sports app to look at this game. The season series last year, we were 2-1 against the Sabres in our struggling season. Two leading goal scorers are Voracek with 37 points with 7 goals and 30 assists. It would be pretty damn good if he had 78 points already. Toronto, or it says Toronto, but that's supposed to be Buffalo. This thing's wrong. Kane has 28 points with 14 goals and 14 assists. Just to let you know, it's not just me saying. If you can see it says Toronto. It wasn't just me saying Toronto by accident. Somebody put it in the freaking article by accident. And then the Flyers have a 4-game winning streak where they have outscored their opponents 17-7 in the process and have also not allowed more than 2 goals in each of those games. So our defense has been tightening up even before Gudas came back, and now it looks better with Ratko back at the helm as a veteran on defense. Also, speaking of our defense, Robert Hagg has looked like a menace on the ice this year and has been very good, and it looks like he consistently gets better each game. The one defenseman that's always up and down this year has been Travis Sanheim, but he's still very young, and he's a guy that, at least in my eyes, I thought he would be good this year like he is. He's doing good, don't get me wrong, but I thought he would take a little bit more time than the other guys because Hagg's also older, has been in the minors longer, did the whole Hextall thing where he wants him to be there for a few years and then come up. But Sanheim hasn't, but that's also because Sanheim is a more elite prospect that's very talented, that if we just give him time, he will stop making those little mistakes on defense sooner rather than later, as well as Nolan Patrick, who has made some mistakes since coming back. He will stop making those sooner rather than later because people question, well, how come we didn't give him a year to develop? They didn't want him to be in the juniors and then have to wait for the juniors to be over in order for him to slot up and be in our lineup. Plus, he's doing doable. He creates some offensive plays. He just can't get on the score sheet. I think he's going to be a guy that's much like Raffle, that once he gets on the score sheet, he's just going to keep getting assists or keep getting some goals in the net. He just has to get going first, which I think will happen soon. Despite their record, the Sabres have earned points in their last 4. They won 2 and then lost 2 in OT. So they are a team that, even though the record doesn't show it, are actually still a dangerous team. And the Flyers cannot play down to their opponent. They are not in any position to do that. They have to come out here and play like they played these past 4 games against these Canadian teams. And they should really play like they played Toronto, because if you play the Sabres like you played Toronto, you should be able to kill the Sabres if we play that well of a game again, because the Toronto Maple Leafs are one of the better teams in the league this year, where the Sabres are one of the more struggling teams, even though they have got points in their last 4. Let's be honest. If we come out and play like we've been playing the past 2 games, especially the last game against the Maple Leafs, you should be able to, with ease, beat the Buffalo Sabres on your home ice. Now, if we look at, besides Evander Kane, who's obviously a threat on the Sabres, well, that would be Jack Eichel, their young 21-year-old center, who has 8 goals and 16 assists on the season for 24 points. He is a minus 11 this year, though, which obviously isn't good. That means he's on the ice for a lot of goals scored. Ryan O'Reilly would obviously be another guy you would want to make sure you know where he is on the ice, because he can bury them and get nice assists. He has 7 goals and 13 assists on the year. He has a minus 15 with 20 points. Jason Pominville has a minus 5 with 8 and 8 for 16 points. Kyle Okposo, the guy that used to be in our division and do pretty well against the Flyers while on the Islanders. So by that logic, we should make sure we guard Kyle Okposo, because he's a guy that seems to have more confidence once he plays us. He has 5 goals and 8 assists for 13 total points. A lot of the Sabres plus minuses are terrible this year, but that also in part has to do with their struggling goaltending and their struggling defense, and not just how the forwards are playing. But obviously, part of it lies on the forwards when you have that low of a plus minus. Now, in terms of defense, their leading defensive point getter is Rasmus Ristolainen. I guess that's how you say that. He's the age of 23 with 0 goals and 9 assists, and he has a minus 9. And their other defenseman, Scandella, has a minus 5. So like I said, their defense isn't helping out their forwards in their plus minus for the most part, because the Sabres are just struggling, and a lot of guys have minuses, and you got to take advantage, get the puck up the ice, win those one-on-one battles like we've been doing, win the battles in the corner, win the battles in front of the net, and just get in there, check hard, play hard, battle hard like we've been doing. And this game should not be a hard game at all for the Flyers to get to a 5-game winning streak. The only way it can be a hard game is if we make it a hard game, because we play down to the opponent. And we are not in any position to do that. We are still on the outside looking in. If the playoffs ended today, we are trying to make a run to get back into them. So they need to show up and show out against every team, no matter who it is, which I think we will. But if we don't, then I'm not going to be a very happy camper tomorrow when I make a reaction video to the Flyers game. Claude Giroux has 13 goals and 21 assists on the year for 34 total points, and he has a plus 9. He's been doing great of late. He had that great one-timer goal, and he has been getting points by the many of late. Coots has 30 on the year with 15 and 15 for a plus 13. Voracek I never gave his plus. He has a plus 6. Ghost is 4th in points. He's doing a lot better also on offensive late. He was doing great on assists. He's getting a lot more looks to get goals of late, which I think will start coming in more, and he get to that 6-7 goal level in the next month or so. But now he has 4 with 18 assists and a plus 3 rating for 22 points. Provorov, who obviously is our great two-way defenseman, who obviously is considered the best defenseman on our team, has 4 goals and 10 assists with a +2 and 14 points. Scott Laughton has come on of late to get to the 10-point total with 5 and 5. He has a +5 and 10 assists. TK has looked a lot better on offense of late to have 4 and 6 now with 10 points and a +2 rating. Val Filppula has 7 and 8 with a -1 with 15 points. So the Flyers have to keep playing the brand of Flyers hockey, which is nitty-gritty, hard-pounding, winning those battles, getting in front of the net, pushing guys out of the way, getting deflections, and playing like we played these past 4 games. And we will come in to our own house tonight and welcome in those Buffalo Sabres that will then be kicked right out of Philadelphia with a big, fat L as long as the Flyers play their game. If they play down to the opponent, then we will be knocked out of our home with a big, fat L. But we have no affording to play down to the opponent, like I said, and if we do, that is just a disgrace, and I don't see it happening with how this team has been playing of late. So please don't do that, Flyers. Please play like you've been doing the past 4 games, and let's take it to these Sabres tonight. Let's go Flyers. This has been a look ahead to the Flyers and Sabres game. Peace out, everybody. This is Sports Fanatic News. I'm Joe Borick.